Right. Oh, very good morning, all of you. So today's live session will have Toffee joining us. Right. So Toffee, are you ready? Shall we start? Okay. Good morning from Toffee's side as well. So today's live session will focus on the following topics. Like as you can see in the thumbnail, like practical steps to ensure your success in entrance, for that matter, in any aspect in life, and also what's dominating your mind. Is it the fear of failure or desire to succeed? So that's something which I want you to answer, if not now, at least in the later part of the session. Okay. So how are you guys doing? So before we start, I wish to hear from your side. So how are you guys doing? Right. So first and foremost, I would like to highlight. See, in fact, I wish to discuss so many things. I'm sorry. I'm willing to discuss so many things. So in this live session, we'll focus on a continuation. Like previously, we discussed about persistence, what persistence is all about, and why it is essential to ensure success. This session is an add-on to the same, where we'll discuss multitude of aspects related to this persistence. So, heads up, persistence, as you guys are aware of, it's your ability to pursue course of action or course of actions, irrespective of challenges or difficulties one might face in one's journey of life. It can be preparation phase, it can be, for that matter, anything in life, anything which you wish to accomplish. So, in this live session, as I said, we'll discuss on four practical steps which will ensure your success. That we'll be doing it at the end of the session. But before that, we'll look into various symptoms of lack of persistence, and also how can we cultivate this habit, because persistence is something which we can cultivate. It's about a state of mind. So when we understood the fact that previously the persistence is very essential, so how can we cultivate this habit, just like how we brush our teeth? And before that, in the beginning, we'll try to explore various symptoms of lack of persistence, which you and me, every one of us, will face in this process of journey, right? So various symptoms. So I'm sure you can correlate with the same. So initially, we'll discuss about the symptoms of lack of persistence, how we can achieve or cultivate this habit of persistence, and finally, those four practical tips. Right. So these are the areas which I'll be highlighting in this live session. I hope you guys are ready. Okay. So first and foremost, when I say symptoms of lack of persistence, I'll read out some symptoms. See which of them is actually correlating. I mean, with your own experience. No idea about what you want. This is one major problem which almost all of us face. Like when we do something, we literally have no idea like what we wish to achieve through that process, or what we want actually. Unfortunately, even if someone knows what they want, right, like what they want exactly, there is strong motive behind that, right? So we'll try to explore that as well. So no idea what one wants is one of the symptoms of lack of persistence. Procrastination, with or without reasons, genuine reasons. Lack of interest, indecision, habit of blaming others. I said habit of blaming others. It's not just about blaming or pointing fingers, but this habit, no matter when we fail or when we fail to accomplish a given task or activities, it's like we always point out fingers, or we tend to point out fingers, maybe because it's convenient more. So habit of blaming others is another symptom. Accepting unfavorable circumstances as being unavoidable. See, previously, or previous batches, previous aspirants, especially related to preparation, there used to be huge time constraints. Like students never found additional time for preparation because they had to balance internship and preparation simultaneously. But currently, unfortunately, because of this pandemic, fortunately, unfortunately, are having plenty of time. How many of you think that you're actually utilizing the available time, and you are having the sense of gratitude that you have plenty of time? That you should answer for yourself. So, accepting unfavorable circumstances as being unavoidable, lack of organized plans. Planning is very important. That's the reason why we keep on giving you several schedules and all. But organized planning, like what you wish to accomplish by the end of the day, by the end of the week, by the end of the month, there is nothing wrong in having this organized planning. The only, for that matter, the advantage you receive or perceive or achieve by this organized planning is clarity, which is, of course, very essential for one's confidence. So, lack of organized planning, habit of neglecting to move on one's ideas. Like you have a brilliant idea, or you experience something good, failure to proceed in those lines. Again, it's because of procrastination. It can be a number of factors. Again, that's a habit of negligence. Wishing instead of willing. So initially, I said I wish to discuss so many things. No, that's wrong. I'm willing to discuss so many things. We all wish for good things to happen, but those who are willing to give their best ultimately, accomplish what they want. So wishing instead of willing is another symptom of lack of persistence. Shortcuts, penultimate one. Shortcuts. This is very tempting. Get a get some guide or approach something through shortcuts. It's very convenient, right? But we have to face the brunt of that action as well, shortcuts. And finally, this is something which I wanted to highlight in this live session as well. And that's how I even designed the timetable: fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear as such, especially fear of criticism. When I say this fear of criticism, in fact, if you observe the entire history of humankind, including the present generation, including ourselves, including the present generation, countless men and women, millions and millions of men and women, if not billions, at least I can say millions of men and women, are letting their close family members or relatives destroy their personal ambition, destroy their right to lead their own life their own way in the name of duty, in the name of responsibility. You commonly observe, like when a woman attains an age of 18, 19, 21, 23, these days 25, they say you should get married. You have to settle. Settling is equal to getting married in a country like ours, which is very unfortunate. Settling is all about bearing kids. I'm talking especially about women. Settling is all about taking care of the family. There's nothing wrong in all these things. No, that's not my intention. But is that really a settlement which a woman wishes to have? I mean, what about her personal ambitions? I see thousands and thousands of aspirants, especially women, who crave for, who have that longingness to achieve more and more success professionally. They wish to have this MDS degree, they wish to master so many clinical procedures, succeed in the clinical practice. But what about their personal ambitions, personal goals? What about their right to lead their own life? What about your right to lead your own life your own way? In the name of duty, in the name of responsibilities, we are letting our relatives, our friends, acquaintances, family members to destroy our personal ambitions, destroying the right to lead our own life in our own way, which is very, very unfortunate because, after all, we are a life being, you are a life being. So this is something which I wanted to highlight, and this is happening. Women are letting, or men are letting others, especially relatives, to destroy their personal ambitions because of fear of criticism, because of fear of failure. Rather than fear of failure, it's failure of, fear of criticism. Because if a woman pursues her dreams, her personal ambitions, we give so many names, so many negative names to that woman, and then we criticize her. We say she is roaming outside, she is not taking care of family. So we treat women, especially in most of the cultures, women are being treated as commodities, as means through which they maintain kitchen and they bear children. There is nothing wrong in it, but in the name of these duties or responsibilities, unfortunately, we are destroying their personal ambitions, as I said, destroying their right to lead their own life their own way, which is very, very unfortunate. Even in 21st century, that's happening. The reason I'm trying to probe so much into this is because very few weeks ago, I mean 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was interacting with my mother, and her mobile was not functioning properly. It's an old mobile. It's not working properly. It's getting stuck. So I said, Amma, I'll get you a best mobile possible, which is available in the market, the best mobile possible. Then she said, no, I don't want costly mobile or best mobile. Just give me a normal mobile, a cheap mobile, because I'm not earning any money and I'm just staying at home. That's what she said. Exactly, that's what she said. I'm not earning money. I mean, she is not earning money and she's just staying at home. So, this is how we're conditioning women, unfortunately. And I'm sure this is true in almost each of our families, especially in a country like us. Women are tuned and made to believe that they're only meant for staying at home. It's okay, women are staying at home, but who is cooking food? Who is taking care of children? Who is taking care of husband? All the needs, requirements. Who is actually taking care of the house? And they still are under belief that they're not earning anything. I mean, earning in the sense only when you get some money or dollars, do you think that's earning? What about rest of the factors? What about respect? What about love? This is very, very unfortunate. Women, even men in that matter, men on the other hand are forced into, you should settle fast, you should start earning, ignoring their personal ambitions, goals. And that's the reason why we see millions and millions of people suffering on day-to-day basis, because we seem to be forgetting a very simple logic, that is following our passion, understanding our passion, following the same. And once we do that, rest of the things will follow. But we're conditioned and we're forced to, and to find shortcuts and settle. I don't know what the term settle means, but they say you get married, you'll settle. For girls, for boys, you find a job, you're settled. I literally wish to know the exact meaning of this term settle, right? So because of this fear of self-criticism, fear of failure, most of them are leading a miserable life, which is an actual reality. This is not something which is there in some book or in the past. It's the actual reality which we are living in today. So these all are symptoms of lack of persistence. And as a generation, I find that this is our responsibility to make sure that we are thinking in right manner, with right perspectives and perceptions, and treat each and everyone with dignity and respect. Woman is not just about a kind of machine who does all household work. She is also alive. A man is also a living being. We are ignoring those facts. And if some stranger tells us something, fear of criticism, when I say if some outsider comes and criticizes us, that's okay. We can do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. But this criticism coming from our own family, from our own relatives, from our acquaintances and friends, this is a dangerous precedent. Literally, I'm not blaming the relatives here. We are letting them to destroy our personal ambitions and the right to lead our own life in our own way. I'm using these words very, very cautiously, right? So let me not further extend into this. So, anyways, I bought my mobile. I bought my mother a very good mobile, the best mobile possible. So chapter closed. I got a closure over there, but still, the perceptions and perspectives are in such a way that they are under this constant fear of criticism, which is very, very unfortunate. I mean, as a generation, that's our responsibility to make sure that we're treating each and everyone with dignity and respect. Just because you married some woman, it's not that you treat her like a workwoman, isn't it? So anyway, so as I said, these are some of the symptoms. And now we'll discuss like how we can actually cultivate this habit of persistence. Because as I said, persistence, it's all about doing things consistently, a pursuing course of actions or action in spite of difficulties or challenges. So how can we cultivate this habit? As I said, this is a state of mind. If I'm sitting idle, if I'm cool, if I'm smiling, this is a state of mind. Persistence is a state of mind. Joy is a state of mind. So how can you cultivate this habit of persistence? First and foremost, I mean there are so many factors, so that's the reason I made notes. So that's the reason I'm looking into my notes. I mean that's not an offense, right? Even it's an open book system. Even students these days, they're giving exams by opening their books. Then why not a teacher? I'm just kidding. So first and foremost, definiteness or definiteness of purpose. As I said, most of us don't know why we're doing it. Why are you preparing? When someone joins our academy, one of the questions is, before we provide them details. Why do you want to do MDS? They give. I mean, I get good responses. I get very bad responses, mixed kind of responses. The point here is most of them really don't know why they're doing MDS. One of the students actually told me, names are not important, but the student told me that she wants or he wants to do MDS because his or her parents are forcing him or her to do. Some strange kind of answers. It seems strange, but that's practically very true. That's the reality we are living. So why do you want to do something? It can be MDs, it can be anything in life. Why do you want to do it? That definiteness in purpose is very, very important. And if you have that clarity, like what you want to do, is that suffice? But what about the burning desire? Purpose is very important, but it should be backed up by a burning desire. Like why? You have a purpose. You want to achieve MBS, right? In this instance, but why? What drives you? You want to excel clinically. You want to go into research. You want to serve people. You want to open a clinic, a world-class clinic. I mean, what's your motive? What's your burning desire? Keep these two things in mind. These will drive you into action. Purpose and your burning desire, definiteness of plan. So purpose, desire is fine, but what about planning, organized planning, scheduling? That's very important. And when I say schedule, see, no matter when I title any live session as schedule or 4 months before, 3 months before, the views are going to be good, the reception is going to be good. That's very fantastic. We all love schedules, but as it's one side of the coin, what about the other side of the coin, which is implementation or continuous action? Schedule is important, but following it isn't that equally important? It's even more important for that matter. So, definiteness of plans or organized planning, and then action or working towards that, accurate knowledge. When you follow a guide or a study kind of material or something which gives you ready-made answers, that's not a way of achieving or attaining accurate knowledge. Accurate knowledge can be achieved through standard references, through persons who guide you in a standardized manner. When you have this standardized way of learning, then you will know why you're learning and what you're learning. That creates a lot of interest and that eventually drives you into action. It's another strong motive for persistence, accurate knowledge. And cooperation, next factor, cooperation. When I say cooperation, it's not just about cooperation with yourself, but cooperation with your friends, cooperation with your family, with your guide. This cooperation has to be harmonious. Only then, see, if you're fighting with me, how can you prepare? If you're fighting with your family members, if you're fighting with yourself, then where is that harmony and how can you actually be persistent in your actions? So this cooperation at all levels is very important. I'm talking in terms of your preparation. And penultimate factor is willpower. Don't worry, I'll summarize again and I'll also share the notes or the key points rather. This is not notes, these are key points. Willpower. Willpower is something which is very, very essential. If I'm doing this live session, if you're attending this live session, there is some power within us which is driving us into this action. So willpower, we think like I don't have such heavy or high willpower like toppers. I don't know what that category or categorization is, but remember, willpower is like a flexible muscle. This is not me saying. Roy F. Baumeister, who has done extensive studies, and he has even given us a book, Willpower, Rediscovering Greatest Human Strength or Potential, where he clearly describes how one can enhance one's willpower. A simple example, let me ask you this question. So we have a day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. During which time of the day do you confess more? When do you confess more? When are you very frank in your conversations? Early morning, midday, evening, or night time? Evening, morning? Okay. Morning, I'm sure you'll all be sleeping, right? Night, late nights? Exactly. So I hope you got my point. We usually confess during late nights. When we speak to our loved ones or friends or chatting or, talking over phone or direct communication, confessions, I mean, largely, not everyone, I'm not generalizing it, but largely, confessions happen during late nights. Late nights, not even night, late nights. It's because during the entire day, you are occupied with so many things in your mind that your glucose levels also will come down, your willpower proportionally comes down, and late nights is when you actually do or give out more confessions. Let me state another example which was given in that book which I mentioned prior, Willpower, Rediscovering Greatest Human Strength by Roy F. Baumeister, where he gives us an example of judges. In a court, they have examined, in fact, they have done a study about the rate of giving paroles or granting paroles to prisoners or, culprits or whatever. They have clearly noticed that in that particular study, just before a lunch break, the rate of granting these paroles is decreasing drastically compared to the rate of granting paroles after lunch. In simple terms, when your glucose levels in body are low, your willpower automatically decreases. The moment you eat something, you feel energetic, you feel like doing it. So these revelations, these excellent and marvelous revelations are made by several people, including Roy F. Baumeister, in their extensive studies. I would suggest you to go through that book. So if you can rediscover your greatest human strength, that is willpower, you'll obviously know how to be persistent in your actions. And finally, habit. So when I say habit, brushing is the best example we have. So in this process, we should keep in mind that fear is something which can be cured 100%. We all have this fear of failure, fear of criticism, whatsoever. But as I said, two states of mind cannot coexist. Fear or happiness, no, both cannot coexist. Only one can exist. So fear can be effectively cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. This is very, very important. So making that as your habit or ritual, forced repetition of acts of courage. When I say this, you might take it sarcastically, but what about soldiers in any country? Our Indian soldiers, any soldiers? Do you think they're fearless when they go into a war? There will be, as humans will have that innate fear, but it's through repeated acts of courage, repetition, forced repetition of acts of courage, they grow to such an extent that they no longer perceive fear. So fear can be cured 100%. So you're having some fear, it is 100% curable. It is through forced repetition of acts of courage. Keep this in mind if you want. I want you to write down this phrase. Forced repetition of acts of courage. You do something, you feel good, keep repeating the same. You're brushing your teeth today. Why are you doing it every day? Forced repetition. Why? Because you know it's significant. So forced repetition of acts of courage, make them into a habit. So these are some of the factors which will help you gain, based on which you can develop your persistence. And finally, four steps. As I said, four steps to achieve success in entrance. For that matter, achieve success in all walks of life. The first and foremost thing is, again, this will be a summary of all that we discussed so far. Purpose backed by desire. Definiteness in purpose, backed by strong desire or motive. This is very, very essential. The first step. The second step, definite plan expressed in continuous action. Scheduling is important. Organized planning is very important, coupled with continuous action through consistency. And third factor is which we haven't discussed till now, but we had discussed this n number of times previously. Shield against negativity or discouragement. People say many things. You hear many things. Social media says, infinite number of things. You open news channel, horrible things. Somewhere that happened, this happened, someone died, he died, she died, something 24 by 7. Shield yourself against this negativity or discouragement. Your relatives might say, why are you still studying? Why don't you go work? They might criticize you, but shield yourself against. One of our aspirants in PDBD Achievers video also clearly mentioned the same. Out of practical experience, you'll understand much better. So shield yourself against all this negativity and discouragement. Deactivate all notifications, remove all unnecessary apps, and then focus on the task at hand. And the fourth step, of course, is very crucial: friendship with those who actually encourage you towards your plans, purpose, or action. So, that kind of friendship is very important. When you have a friend who encourages you, who keeps you reminding you the purpose, your planning, and your ability to act, having such friendships would be invaluable, during not just during one's preparation, but in life as such. So these four steps will ensure your success in entrance, not just in entrance, but in all walks of life. Take my word, right? So these are some of the things which I wanted to highlight in this specific video. So we'll have some FAQs now, and then at the end I'll try to summarize all that we have discussed so far, right? I hope it's clear. We're working so hard conducting this session, and Toffee is happily sleeping. An ideal student, we can say. Yeah, Abhinav, good morning, sir. I'm Nepalese, and can I get scholarship for MBS in India? Hoping for a kind response. Abhinav, I haven't heard of anything like scholarship for foreign graduates, but yes, you can take up a NEET entrance. You have reservation in AIMS, a foreign category reservation. So you can drop a mail. I'll discuss that accordingly, right? I'll provide you relevant information, and then you can decide accordingly. Bimal, sometimes we study a lot, but we score less. We get depressed. How to get refreshed from it? Bimal, if you were scoring 100% in every test, do you think you should continue your preparation? Of course, we score less because there is nothing like 100% ideal case scenario. But no matter how much you score, make sure that you're learning from that particular test. You think you've done poor in that particular test, it's okay. Review, at least review that paper and see to that you're not repeating those mistakes, right? Along with that, maintain notes, right? This will eventually help you to progress. So don't worry about how much you score because whatever test you're giving now, that's not a final exam. If it's a final exam, okay, I can understand you're depressed, but no matter how many mistakes you do, this is the only time you can make mistakes, as many mistakes as possible. I mean, not willingly, but unwillingly, or other case scenarios, you can make as many mistakes as possible. But the question here is, are you learning from those mistakes, and are you maintaining your customized notes? If yes, then you have nothing to worry. Well said, Sir Vaishnavi. Thank you, Vaishnavi. You're welcome. Abhinav, I'll personally mail you the DSL for my queries. Of course, Abhinav, you can always get back through mail 24 by 7. Any tips go for going through burnout? Navin Babu. I'm sorry, Navin. What do you mean by burnout? You mean burnout? Burnout. So it means you are on override. Just take a break. Involve yourself in your favorite activity. Watch a TV, drink something, eat something of your choice, drink something of your choice. Very simple things. They might appear very simplistic, but they'll have profound effect on us. You know, so involve yourself in an activity which gives you pleasure. Take a break. Everything will be all right. Bimal, you're welcome. Bimal, Amreen, it's a really nice lecture. You're welcome, Amreen. How to go through pharmacology? Should we covet each and everything in Tripartite? You mean cover each and everything in Tripartite? As per DCA syllabus, all topics have to be mastered, but in the available time, how many topics can you master? Based on time availability, based on the number of multiple choice questions you practice, you'll have an idea. So you have to proceed accordingly. And that's the reason why we have been having these courses, e-classes, test series, study club discussions, assignments, debate topics, so that we can focus on what topics are relevant for you and provide questions accordingly. Also, sir, amount of negative interest, how can be reduced? Amreen, I'm glad you asked this question. Always keep in mind, negative marking, you cannot avoid negative marking. You can only reduce it or minimize it. So minimizing, so you have given a test. So note down on a piece of paper why you have made mistakes in those questions. Like, is it because you have no clarity of concept? or is it because you're confused between two options, or is it because you were in a hurry, or is it because you haven't read the question twice? So analyze along these lines, make your notes or paper into 3 or 4 columns based on these parameters, and then mark the number of questions which you have done wrong, like you haven't read the question properly and you committed 5 to 6 mistakes overall. Just note down that number. Similarly, other categories. So this gives an idea like where you can actually improve, and eventually you will overcome and minimize your errors, right? Minimize negative marking, but you cannot avoid negative marking. You should be realistic in your approach. That's a very soothing feeling. Yeah, Vaishnavi, yes, sir. I can. I relate to you. People say that many medical people's life, my life మొత్తం చదవడం అయిపోతుంది. That's very sad, sir. You would have taken engineering or any other course of short time. Yes, yes, Vaishnavi. This is something which we commonly hear. Like people saying like you're spending your entire life on study, but if you're doing it with passion because you're interested, then there is nothing to regret about. People say many things. Unfortunately, opinions are free. That's the reason why people keep on giving opinions. Opinion giving is very rampant. It's rampant than viral infection. So we should not fall prey to it. Let people say what they want to say, but if we are seeking facts, as I said previously, opinions are stupid, facts are sacred. Numbers are sacred, facts are sacred. So try seeking facts, opinions are stupid, everything will be fine. I'm really glad you shared your experience, Vaishnavi. Amanda, so how to approach the preparation for entrance point of view when you are a UG final year student? Manda, just drop a mail. We'll give you some list of courses available in our academy with plan of action, schedule, etc. So based on that, you can proceed if you are in final year. Okay. Ipsita, good morning, sir. I've always tried my best in everything, but my teachers never appreciated me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's very demotivating, sir. Ipsita, let me ask you one thing very frankly. Are you giving your best to impress your students? To impress your teachers? Uh, it might be sounding offensive, but no, that's not my intention. So, are you giving your best to impress your teachers, to impress someone else, or are you giving your best, to enhance your own capabilities? So, give me the answer. I'm sure you'll get the answer. Hi, Preeti, a very good morning. So, Ipsita, as an add on, don't expect people to, appreciate you. Maybe if they're doing it, there can be some other motive behind the same. So don't fall prey to it. If they're appreciating you, just say namaste and mind your work. If they are criticizing you, try to see if you can improve. If there is any genuine criticism, constructive criticism, see if you can incorporate and improve progress. And again, say namaste. No matter what others say, always say namaste. And most importantly, I should mind my own work. You should mind your own work, right? Bimal, sir, what is your mailing ID? Since I watched your video today for the first time, I didn't know Bimal. Yeah, you can just drop a mail at howtobedentist@gmail.com, or you can check our website, ptbdacademy.com, or in the thumbnail of this video at the bottom, you can see all the relevant IDs. Okay. You're welcome, Vaishnavi. Kumar, sir, now only 4 months. Can we succeed? Kunal, of course, yes. But before you ask me this question, you should change your question. Rather asking me, can I succeed? Can we succeed? You should ask me, I will succeed. What should I do? Or I will succeed. Take my word. You should change your question. So don't worry about how many months are left. Do you know exam is going to be in December? So how can you decide it's 4 months? I mean, you have no idea, right? The exam dates are still not out. So assuming that the exam is in December, you're saying 4 months, that's fine. But no matter how many months it is, just focus on giving your best. And the answer to your question is yes, we can succeed. 4 months. Definitely yes. It's a big yes. Okay, it's been around 40 minutes. So you guys have anything else to say or ask? No, I'll be more than happy. Okay, so before we conclude, before we wind up this session, let me summarize all that we have discussed so far. So, persistence is your ability to pursue your course of actions in spite of challenges or difficulties. So what's dominating your mind? Is it the desire to succeed or is it the fear of failure? You cannot have both things at the same time, right? So if you have the desire to succeed to such a profound extent that it displaces this fear of failure and ultimately you will succeed, take my word. So there are various symptoms of lack of persistence, like no idea about what one is doing, procrastination, lack of interest, indecision, habit of blaming others, wishing instead of willing, shortcuts, fear of criticism, lack of organized plans, etc. And then, as I said, persistence is a state of mind which we can cultivate based on definiteness of purpose, desire, definiteness of plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, habit. And to summarize and simplify all that we discussed, four steps, simple steps to ensure your success, not just in entrance but in all walks of life. Purpose backed by desire, you know, and then organized planning expressed in continuous action, shielding oneself or yourself against negativity or discouragement, and friendship with those who encourage you to follow your plan or purpose. We all have this fear, but as humans, it's okay to have fear. That's one of the natural feelings we innately possess. But can we cure fear? 100% yes. Fear is curable. Fear can be cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. So it's about habituating these acts of courage and then implementing on day-to-day basis. It can be anything. You say anything of your choice. And then, as I said, this fear of criticism is something which happens very often. And there is no one to blame here. We are to be blamed if we are having that fear of criticism because we are letting others, especially our relatives, friends, and acquaintances, to destroy our personal ambitions and then destroying our right to lead our own life, our own way, which is very, very unfortunate. Please do not let that happen. Follow your passion. At the same time, of course, there is nothing wrong in doing certain things, but again, that has to be based on your choice, not by because someone compelled you to do so. If that's the case, that would be a very unfortunate scenario, right? And there will be suffering on day-to-day basis, isn't it? I really appreciate all of you joining this live, and it's been a lovely interaction. Really appreciate for asking some of the questions as well. Okay, so Toffee, please wake up. Toffee, please wake up. So I have to wake up our student so that she says goodbye. Toffee, good morning. So it's very sleepy. She is very, very sleepy. I'm sure this is the situation with you guys as well. Toffee, you want to sleep? You can say bye to them. If you can say bye, and then you can sleep. You don't want to say bye? Biscuit? Veldama? It understands certain keywords. Like if I say biscuit, it gets excited. If I say Veldama, Veldama means let's go in Telugu. If I say Veldama, it gets very excited because I drive her in car. It's her favorite activity. When lower the window, she pops her head outside and then enjoys the view. I have some pictures. I'll share them as well. You know, very lovely beings. I mean, I'm having friendship. I'm doing friendship with him, with her. So this gives me a lot of energy and excitement. And as I said, that's the fourth step to success. Friendship with those who actually remind you of your purpose. So it's reminding me of my purpose, that is to love a being, to love a living being. Yeah. Kunal, sure. We'll definitely incorporate review sessions as well. You can also check out our courses, get back to me for relevant details. Okay, guys. See you all. Bye. Toffee, you can say bye. At least wave your hand. Okay, guys. Love you all. Have a happy Sunday.